And from the nation's capital, Defense Headquarters begins assessment of damage after joint strike on insurgents' hideouts in Sokoto. We begin tonight with party politics. The former Labour Party presidential candidate, Mr. Peter Obi, has defected to the African Democratic Congress, the ADC. According to Mr. Obi, the defection demonstrates his commitment to a unified Nigeria and quality leadership. Speaking during a political press conference organized to announce his defection in Enugu State, Mr. Obi says that he is optimistic that the ADC government will address insecurity, corruption, overtaxation, poverty, and create wealth among the teeming Nigerian population. The events brought together the leaders of the party across the nation, including former Senate Presidents David Mark, Enyinaya Baribe, Aminu Tambuwal, former governors from the Southeast, among other party faithful.
Today is the last day of 2025. So we are ending this year with a hope that in 2026 we will begin a journey of rescue of our country. For proper socio-economic development that will be unifying and inclusive. We have all watched those who benefited from our democracy sometime now become accessories to destroying our democracy, either through coercion and gangsterism against the opposition. We cannot allow this to happen. We will resist it. We've now seen people who benefited in our democracy be part of celebrating electoral fraud publicly. And we are saying that those who are planning to rig an election in Nigeria come 2027, we will resist it by every means lawful and legitimate.
Meanwhile, the Julius Abure-led National Working Committee of the Labour Party has described the defection of its 2023 presidential candidate Peter Obi to the African Democratic Congress as a liberation for the party, declaring that it regrets fielding him as its flag bearer in the last general election. A statement by the Labour Party National Publicity Secretary, Obi Oraifo, noted that Mr. Obi's exit merely formalized a political separation that had already occurred months earlier amid a prolonged leadership crisis within the party. The statement also adds that the party had repeatedly asked Mr. Obi and his loyalists to leave if he could not work with the Abure-led leadership, stressing that disciplinary measures had already been taken against the several lawmakers aligned with the former presidential candidate. The All Progressives Congress in Zamfara State has commenced a capacity-building exercise for supervisors and agents ahead of the rollout of the party's newly introduced electronic membership registration and revalidation exercise. Speaking at the event, the coordinator of the exercise, Mr. Yusuf Idris, explained that the exercise is aimed at strengthening the party's membership database across the state, and it is also designed to ensure a smooth and transparent e-registration process at the grassroots. A total of 294 agents have been engaged to work directly with party members at the ward and the polling unit levels, while 14 local government supervisors will oversee the exercise in their councils.
In Zamfara State, we have a total number of 294 agents that are going to work directly with the party members at the grassroots level. We have 14 local government supervisors who are going to coordinate and ensure a smooth conduct of the exercise at their local government level in order to ensure a successful party members registration at all levels, in order to have a very accurate data of all party members across the state. We also have 3 senatorial admins who are going to coordinate 3 senatorial districts, 1 per senatorial district, who are the chief admins of the senatorial district.
And away from party politics, the outgoing year 2025 will be remembered for several reasons, including those activities that shaped the organized labor and government relationship, like protests and series of industrial actions to press home workers' demands. Within the labor ecosystem, the year 2025 is no doubt defined by escalating tensions and a significant paradigm shift in the engagements between the federal government and the organized labor, namely the Nigeria Labour Congress, the NLC, and of course the Trade Union Congress. Our next report examines the labor activities that shaped the outgoing year and analyzes the activities that will shape the year 2026.
The year 2025, no doubt, saw a significant shift in labor agitations, with several face-off situations with the federal government moving beyond traditional demands for wage reviews to encompass deep socioeconomic and security issues. The most recent of such labor agitations was the December 17 nationwide protest against insecurity. 24 hours to the protest, the federal government had met with labor leaders on the need to shelve the planned protest. At the end of that meeting, which was brokered by Governor Hope Uzodinma of Imo State, the labor leaders and the government were not forthcoming with detailed responses to questions asked. On the day of the protest, labor leaders accused the government of always using security to intimidate workers whenever they have a reason to agitate.
In terms of labor issues, the office of the Secretary to the government and the Minister of Labor are responsible. So not the heads of security, whether that is to intimidate us or not. I've never seen any country where there are labor issues because security people either to intimidate us or whatever.
Before the nationwide protest against insecurity, the NLC and TUC had also protested against the controversial 50% hike in electricity and the telecoms tariff. Inflation in 2025 continued to be a main driver of industrial disputes. Ultimatums were issued. Protests were organized to pressure the government to address the rising cost of living. In the public sector, the joint health sector unions, JOHESU, as well as the National Union of Resident Doctors, embarked on a strike in the latter half of the year, crippling healthcare services and heightening deep-seated grievances over remuneration and hazard allowances. Similarly, academic and non-academic unions, such as the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, and the Senior Staff Association of Nigeria Universities, SANU, maintained periodic warning strikes over salary arrears. ASU and SANU eventually declared a strike, which halted academic activities in public universities across the country, forcing the government to come back to the negotiation table. Perhaps never to be forgotten is the face-off between the members of the Nigeria Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas, NUPENG, the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association, PENGASIN, and the Dangote Refinery. The impasse impasse that impacted operations in the oil and gas sector was only partly settled after the intervention of the federal government.
Our expectation was that you bring them back to where they were working before because they did nothing wrong. But government now ruled the other way. That is why we are grudgingly saying, okay, let's even see how that pans out. Let's see how many of them. Let's see where they will take them to. Let's see. So that is why we'll monitor the process.
In the series of negotiations that followed those labor activities that shaped the outgoing year, new agreements were struck, some old pledges redeemed, and normalcy restored in most cases. As the year 2025 winds down, uncertainty hovers around how workers' unions will react to unmet promises in 2026. As well as new government policies, especially as the NLC already urges citizens to resist the implementation of the new tax law and similar policies that they termed as anti-people policies.
In the spirit of the new year, widows who were affected by banditry in southern Kaduna have been assisted with relief materials as part of efforts to put smiles on their faces during the festive season. At that event, the chairman of the Kaduna State Internal Revenue Service, Mr. Jerry Adams, stated that insecurity in the region has significantly reduced, attributing that improvement to the Peace Model Initiative of Governor Obasani and the collective effort of security agencies and local communities.
This outreach program is aimed at supporting vulnerable women, including those affected by years of insecurity and economic hardship in southern Kaduna area. The event is a Yuletide celebration, a reminder for these widows that they are seen, remembered, and supported.
Today, we thank God that peace, to a large extent, is being experienced in southern Kaduna and Kaduna State at large. This progress cannot be unconnected from the deliberate peace-building policies of His Excellency Senator Dr. Obasani, CON, whose leadership continues to prioritize dialogue, inclusion, and healing.
I pray that for your children, that God in His mercies will help you to bring them up in His likeness. There's nothing that happens to a human being without the knowledge of God Almighty. And He has promised that He will not lay on His servant a burden that is greater for him to bear.
The Deputy Governor flags off the distribution of the relief materials, which include cash, food items, and non-food items. The event also provides a platform for residents of southern Kaduna to assess the region's security situation as they commend the situation, which they observed has improved since the inception of the present administration.
You can see that a lot of people have been going to farm without harassment. We are not yet there, you understand. It's not something that we would overcome in a little time.
Years back, occasions like this were not celebrated in the southern part of the state. But it's because of the tremendous security improvement that we have at the state. That's why you will see that every village, every community are celebrating one thing or the other. And this is as a result of the effort being put in place by His Excellency, our amiable governor, the governor of Kaduna State, not only on security, but unifying us together.
As these widows go home with smiles clutching their gifts, they are hoping that the security situation is sustained in the interest of the socio-economic development of the area.
And in part two, after the break, former Minister of Finance Kemi Adeosun breaks silence, speaks about her resignation from office and the events that led to it. Please join us again. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, broadcasting live from Lagos. A reminder of our main stories. Former Labour Party presidential candidate in the 2023 election, Peter Obi, defects to the ADC. Focus on Labour tonight in our ongoing 2025 sector-by-sector review. Former Minister of Finance Kemi Adeosun breaks silence, speaks about her resignation from office and the events that led to it. And Sydney welcomes the new year with a message of peace following the Bondi Beach mass shooting. Former Minister of Finance, Mrs. Kemi Adeosun, has been speaking about her resignation from office and the events that led to it. Speaking on Channels Television's current affairs program, Inside Sources, Mrs. Adeosun says that she believed powerful interests took advantage of the situation, but stressed that resigning was necessary to protect her name and her integrity. She recalled informing President Muhammadu Buhari of her decision to step aside in order to clear her name in court. According to her, she had to sue the federal government to resolve the constitutional questions surrounding her case, noting that one cannot remain in government while taking legal action against it.
And I'm not confused about the fact that I had powerful enemies who I believe saw an opportunity. Say, look, let's get rid of her. Let's get rid of her. And I think they called it right in the sense that they knew that eventually she would go. And that's the way I was brought up. You don't hold on to something as if, you know, no. In fact, people still, like, no one resigns finance. Like, I did. And why did I resign? And I remember the day I resigned, I went to go and see Mr. President. And I said, Mr. President, I need to go. But I need to go to court because I have to clear my name. And he said, I absolutely support you. I absolutely support you. And why? Because these names are leased from our children and our grandchildren, right? They're going to inherit them. And then you destroy your name because you wanted to stay as minister for what?
The president said that.
That was our discussion. So I said, sir, I'm going. And I'm going to court. I cannot fight because I'm suing the government. I had to sue the government. I sued the federal government. You can't be suing the government and stay in the government. You can't.
Of course.
You have to go.
Of course.
Right? And I still think it was the right thing to do.
And when you sue the government, and this is a public matter, so were you suing NYSC or an agency of government? I wanted you to explain to our audience why you had to sue the government.
So the only people that could have clarified this issue as to whether I was exempt or not by virtue of the Constitution was government. And when you sue government, I didn't even know this because my lawyer was British, so he named all the insurance. They said, no, that's not how it works. You sue the chief law officer, who's the Attorney General. The Attorney General then coordinates the various agencies to bring their own position. And what was the basis of the lawsuit? The 79 Constitution made it very clear. This woman is not or was not at the material time a Nigerian. Yes or no? And the Constitution, of course, is the highest law.
Of course.
So once the Constitution says you're not a Nigerian, then you're not subject to Nigerian laws.
Absolutely.
Now, to watch the complete interview, please tune in to Inside Sources on Friday at 11:30 a.m. The Nigerian constitution is problematic, and Nigerians can certainly benefit from a brand new one. Well, this formed part of discussions on day 2 of Channels Television's end-of-year program. 2 senior advocates who spoke on the program say the constitution must reflect the fundamental values and ideas of its people.
We would benefit if we had a new constitution which reflected the fundamental values, the ideas, identity of the Nigerian people. And when people talk about constitution, the lawyers talk about it as if it's a legal document. In fact, it is a record of the fundamental social, cultural, and political agreements, including the identity of the people whose territory it governs. So I don't think that anyone can discern from our present constitution in its piecemeal form any consistent ideas to who Nigerians are. And I think that it would benefit from that sort of improvement. But of course, the political task of creating a new constitution is massive. I think perhaps they could do it. But we would first of all need to agree on the fundamental basis of our organization. What do we believe in? Do we believe in the right to life, property? Do we believe in the freedom of association? All these things we take for granted. I think that our constitution is problematic. It's consistent and in many respects incoherent, and it would benefit from drastic improvement, which may include a complete substitution of the Constitution.
This is a unitary system of government that masquerading as a federal setup. In an ideal federal setup, you decentralize powers, including policing powers. You don't have, for instance, under the present, dispensation that we have, the governor of the state is not in full control of the police. He's not in control of the police. That's the reality. The police is answerable. The commissioner of police in Lagos State, for instance, is answerable to the Inspector General of Police in Abuja. In a federal setup, that is clearly an anomaly. What we need is not tinkering with the Constitution. We need a brand new Constitution. We need to start afresh. We need to subject a constitutional framework to a referendum of the Nigerian people. It is lacking now. Were you called upon? Was your consent or your input sought before this Constitution was put in place? So we must agree that what we are operating presently is defective.
And on the lack of public trust and confidence in the judiciary, the consensus was that lawyers have a responsibility to live above board and be at the forefront of challenging acts of indiscipline and lack of accountability in the legal profession.
I think that a fundamental weakness in our system of justice, a major reason for its inefficiency and for lack of confidence, is the inability of the professional system to hold senior lawyers accountable for bad behavior. No one can tell me of a senior lawyer who has been successfully processed through the disciplinary process of the bar. One or two of them have faced criminal conviction for actions they've had. But this is a problem. By and large, senior lawyers think that they are not bound by the rules of the profession and that they can behave in a way that is beyond correction. That is a problem. If senior lawyers can be corrected and held to account, judges will know they can be held to account. Junior lawyers will know they need to be held to account.
Let's continue the news at 10 now as we switch gears and head to the nation's capital, Abuja, where Gloria Omezoke is standing by to bring us more stories. Over to you, Gloria.
Thank you, Anne. We begin with the Defense Headquarters, which says a battle damage assessment is currently ongoing following the recent United States strikes conducted in conjunction with Nigerian forces. Addressing a news conference in Abuja, the Director, Defense Media Operations, Major General Michael Onoja, says the military would make its findings public after the assessment is completed. He assures Nigerians that the military is on the trail of insurgents who are relocating as a result of the sustained firepower against them. General Onoja also appeals to Nigerians to report unusual movement of persons to security agencies, adding that the military is monitoring the movement of terrorists outside the targeted locations of the airstrike. They're also coordinating with field commanders to prevent their infiltration into communities.
The Defense Headquarters is acutely aware of terrorist factions who are currently relocating to communities in response to military pressure carried out on terrorist locations. The purported influx of armed headers into certain communities is also being viewed seriously, and operational planning is going on to curtail their activities. Intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance assets are actively monitoring terrorist movements across various operational theaters. Several movements have also been identified and are presently being tracked. Communities are all to maintain their composure, to remain vigilant, and cooperate with security agencies. Citizens are also encouraged to promptly report any suspicious movements or activities to the nearest security agencies' formations. The Armed Forces of Nigeria, in collaboration with security agencies, have also intensified proactive measures to thwart any attempts by fleeing terrorists to infiltrate or destabilize any community.
And to a sad incident where 3 persons have been killed and 8 others injured in Akunza community of Lafia local government area. The police public relations officer, Raman Nansil, who confirmed this, noted that it happened Tuesday night when gunmen attacked the community. He added that the Commissioner of Police has deployed personnel to the area to restore calm. The Commissioner has also ordered a comprehensive investigation to unravel the perpetrators. Meanwhile, the injured persons have been taken to the hospital for treatment. And over to Bauchi State, where Governor Bala Mohammed has strongly criticized the federal government's proposed implementation of the new tax law scheduled to take effect on January 1, 2026. He warned that the policy will further impoverish Nigerians and called on the federal government to urgently review its tax policies. Governor Mohammed also accused the APC-led federal government of using the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, and the Judiciary to persecute opposition figures. The governor made the statement when he signed the state's 2026 appropriation bill into law. Our correspondent, Hajara Aliyu, reports.
Members of the Bauchi State House of Assembly, led by the Speaker, Mr. Abubakar Suleiman, are in the Government House to present the 2026 appropriation bill to Governor Bala Mohammed for assent.
We have undertaken a thorough review of the revenue projections, outlined capital and recurrent expenditures, and prioritize key strategic sectors that are critical to job creation, security, infrastructure, and social welfare.
Governor Mohammed then proceeds to sign the bill into law, a budget totaling over 877 billion naira. At the conclusion of the budget signing ceremony, the Institute of Safety Professionals presented an award to the governor in recognition of his efforts in environmental protection, security, occupational health, and the overall well-being of citizens. In response, the governor addresses several national issues. First, he condemns the arrest of the State Commissioner for Finance by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, including the allegation against him as a serving governor.
I was just waking up to an occasion where I was told that I'm being accused of terrorism as a governor. Someone who is the head of the opposition. My commissioner has been kept and will not be released by an EFCC. Even when I have immunity as a governor, my name was stupendously mentioned in a motion in a court of law in Nigeria. Me, Bala Mohammed.
Governor Mohammed maintains that he has no plans to join the All Progressives Congress, alleging persecution.
The APC-led federal government think they can use the courts, the institution of government like the EFCC, to persecute and prosecute Nigerians that are not within their own party. If they don't stop, we are going to declare war. I assure you we are not going to keep quiet any longer. I won't allow anybody to criminalize me because I'm not in their party. And I refuse to join their party. And I will not join their party.
He also used the opportunity to criticize the planned implementation of the new tax law.
The federal government should look at its tax system. In spite of all the impurities, they are going ahead.
However, he maintains that meaningful progress can only be achieved through good governance rather than political witch hunting. Hajara Aliyu, Channels Television News.
Still ahead on the news at 10, federal government officially launches Nigeria Revenue Service with new logo from January 1, 2026. That's in business news. Please join us again. Welcome back. You're still watching the news at 10, coming to you live on Channels Television. To company news, after 11 weeks of rewards, life-changing wins, and over 11,000 winners, it's the grand finale of the Golden Penny 65th anniversary Buy and Win promotion. Golden Penny says the milestone is not just about celebrating 65 years, but reaffirming its commitments to innovation and rewarding loyal customers.
Golden Penny's 65th anniversary buy and win golden promotion. Can we have some commotion for the #1 promotion in Nigeria?
The curtain comes down on the Golden Penny 65th anniversary buy and win promotion, marking the end of weeks of nationwide celebration and rewards.
It's been 11 weeks, 11 great weeks of making people happy. The entire tag of the promotion.
For 11 weeks, Golden Penny transformed everyday shopping into winning moments, disbursing over 4 billion naira worth of cash prizes and creating smiles in homes across the country.
11 weeks of putting smiles on people's faces. So been 11 weeks of amazingness, and even prior to the 11 weeks, it's been months of planning just to, ensure we get to this final moment. We're very excited for the work we've put into ensuring that we put smiles on people's faces. And it's very simple. The objective for us was to, reward our consumers for their loyalty, from the grandmothers, the mothers, the children have patronized over time. So it's been filled with so much excitement.
At its final lap, the promotion delivers a dramatic finish. With more than 11,000 winners, Golden Penny raises the bar, rewarding 2 lucky contestants with 2 brand new SUV cars, sealing the anniversary on a high.
You just won a car!
Allahu Akbar! The celebration also stretches beyond the anniversary. Through the 12 days of Christmas, Golden Penny carries the spirit of giving into the festive season, ensuring the joy of the campaign reaches families at a time when it matters the most.
So for Golden Penny, innovation is one of the key things that we strive to constantly do. So we're an innovative brand. So constantly you get to see new innovative products in the market, and moving from the 65th anniversary that we've just concluded, we're going to see a lot of family-friendly products that you can make use of in your everyday life. From what you have for your breakfast, with the breakfast cereal and co, what you have for your lunch occasion and for dinner as well. So products that you can basically use for your everyday life.
Golden Penny says the anniversary is not just a celebration of 65 years, but a reaffirmation of its promise of continuous innovation for Nigerian consumers.
And that's it from the nation's capital. It's over now to Will Ibong in Lagos for business news.
Thank you, Gloria. And the Nigeria Revenue Service, NRS, will officially launch on January the 1st, 2026, replacing the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, to strengthen revenue mobilization and support sustainable national development. And the NRS introduces a technology-driven integrated system to improve planning, investment, and economic resilience, streamline processes, and align structures aimed to enhance transparency, accountability, and service delivery. While the agency's identity has evolved, its core mandate remains collecting federal revenues fairly and efficiently. NRS is committed to professionalism, innovation, and building trust with taxpayers as Nigeria moves into 2026. Still budget signing. Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma has signed the 2026 appropriation bill, unveiling it as the budget of economic breakthrough. At the ceremony, although he praised the collaboration between the executive and legislature, describing it as a sign of effective governance. Governor Uzodinma said the 1.4 trillion naira budget aims to boost economic growth and improve living standards for residents.
Truly very delighted and delightful that we are ending the 2025 year on this high note. The final bridge between our strategic planning and the economic prosperity which we promised the people of Imo State. I want you to know, and I'm very proud, that this budget is unique. A whooping sum, a very visionary budget of 1.4 trillion naira. It's a roadmap. Budget is made of revenue and expenditure. When you hear that 1.4 trillion naira has been budgeted, we'll first look for the money before we spend the money. So as a government, we'll work to generate the revenue and not spend the revenue. And you can see how ambitious this year's budget is. A signal that we must fasten our seatbelts to look for the money so we can spend the money for the people. So all the projects that are ongoing, critical projects in Imo State, we have no plan to leave anyone uncompleted before the end of our tenure.
And corporates are moving into 2026 with a bang as Energy, owned by Tony Elumelu, has acquired a 20.07% stake in Seplat Energy from Morel and Prom for about $500 million, becoming the company's largest shareholder. The deal, backed by Afrexim Bank and the Africa Finance Corporation, follows Hairs Energy's recent $750 million financing, strengthening its capacity for major acquisitions. Mr. Tony Elumelu said the move reflects confidence in Africa's ability to own and manage its energy resources, marking a significant shift in Seplat's ownership structure. And still on acquisitions, Aradel Energy Limited has acquired an additional 40% stake in ND Western, raising its total shareholding to 81.67% and making ND Western a subsidiary following regulatory approvals. ND Western holds a 45% interest in OML 34 and 50% of Renaissance Africa Energy Holding Company, boosting Aradel's indirect stake in Renaissance Africa's energy company to 53.3%. Aradel CEO Adegbite Falade said the acquisition strengthens the company's position in Nigeria's upstream oil and gas sector and enhances operational scale and efficiency. Now checking with the stock market, we see it's ended the year stronger with market capitalization reaching 99 trillion naira for the first time ever. The Nigerian Exchange Group says the performance highlights the market's resilience in 2025. Speaking on this, NGX Group Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer Timi Kwokwala said the Nigerian capital market in 2025 demonstrated resilience despite economic headwinds, underscoring the importance of policy consistency, purposeful reforms, and collaboration in sustaining investor confidence. He adds that reforms, improved market structures, and technology investments supported capital formation, with NGX Group set to deepen partnerships in 2026 to drive economic growth and wealth creation. Meanwhile, let's see the highlights of today's performance with Ladi Williams.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report. Well, if you've been looking for a reason to smile at your portfolio, today is the day. And the bulls aren't just running on Broad Street, they are charging. Take a look at these record numbers now. Year-to-date performance for the all-share index of the NGX, 51.19%. That's the total market cap there, up 51% for the year. If you look at the market cap, 58.34%. That's in Naira terms. Then we look at in dollar terms for the market cap, up 68.77% in 2025. With these numbers, you can tell that it's been a great year for investors in Nigeria's stock market. If you look at today, the NGX All-Share Index officially cleared the 155,000 mark, surging more than, obviously surging more than 51%, but 0.37%. That was a rise today, comfortably above the 155,000 level by 613 points. So I guess the real headline here is the wealth of most of the investors exploded to a staggering 99 trillion naira. Just a few more and we're at 100 trillion. So the bulls haven't just arrived on the floor. They've taken over at the building, and we're looking at a market that has defied the gravity of inflation to return over 50% to investors. I guess the grass is definitely greener on the NGX side this year. But is it time to harvest or keep planting? See you in 2026.
Let's see the year-end performance for other major equities around the world. And
And that's business news. I'm Will Ibang. Is back to Anne for more on the news at 10.
Thank you, Will. And outside our shores, the Sydney Harbour Bridge was lit up by a white light to symbolize peace and a Jewish menorah that projected onto the pillars of the bridge to show solidarity with the Jewish community. Here's Saman Puse with more international news and around the world in 5 from our London studio.
Good evening and welcome to the Channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Sydney has welcomed the new year with a message of peace following the Bondi Beach mass shooting as huge crowds gathered to watch the city's annual fireworks display. The words peace and unity were projected onto the Sydney Harbour Bridge as thousands of heavily armed police officers patrolled the streets, a rare and stark sight in Australia as part of heightened security measures. New South Wales Police said more than 2,500 officers were on duty across the city, and some officers were authorised to carry high-grade weapons. The attack on the 14th of December targeted Australia's Jewish community and killed 15 people at a Hanukkah festival.
About what we can do more.
The EU's top diplomat has called Moscow's claims that Ukraine targeted Russian government sites a deliberate distraction and an attempt to derail the peace process.
Flag states that register vessels.
Kaja Kallas's comments on social media appear to be a reference to the Kremlin's allegation that Ukraine attempted a drone strike on one of Vladimir Putin's residences. No one should accept unfounded claims from the aggressor, Kallas wrote on social media. Earlier this week, Moscow accused Ukraine of targeting Putin's private home on Lake Valdai in northwestern Russia. Russia said it would review its position in the ongoing peace negotiations as a result. A train driver has died and at least 40 people have been injured in a head-on rail collision near Peru's most popular tourist attraction, Machu Picchu. 2 trains collided on the single track leading to the ancient Inca town on Tuesday. A local government statement said 20 ambulances had attended the scene and that injured people had been transferred to medical facilities in the nearby city of Cusco. The US Embassy in Peru said that US citizens were injured in the crash, while the UK Foreign Office said it was supporting a number of British nationals involved. Hundreds of thousands of people have travelled across Bangladesh to the capital Dhaka on Wednesday to pay their final respects to the former Prime Minister Khaleda Zia. Zia, who was the country's first female Prime Minister, died on Tuesday from a prolonged illness. She was 80 years old. The mourners held out their hands in prayer and carried flags printed with her photographs as a motorcade carrying Zia's body, including the hearse wrapped with the national flag, drove on the streets near the Parliament House. Flags were flown at half-mast and thousands of security officers were deployed.
Une constitution ensemble, cette fois-ci, toute la Guinée.
Guinea's junta chief, General Mamadi Doumbouya, has won the presidential election by a landslide, getting 86.7% of the vote, according to provisional results published by the Election Commission. The general is hoping to legitimise his rule after seizing power in a coup in 2021. A civil society group calling for the return of civilian rule has condemned the election as a charade after General Doumbouya's main rivals were barred from contesting, while opposition candidates said the poll was marred by irregularities. 2 more musicians have cancelled shows at the Kennedy Center after its board voted to rename the venue to include US President Donald Trump's name. The Cookers, a veteran jazz band, said they cancelled 2 New Year's Eve shows. Another group, Doug Verone and the Dancers, said they would not perform 2 shows scheduled for April because of the name change. Richard Grenell, the Kennedy Center's president, called the cancellations a form of derangement syndrome. And the diving chess world championships have taken place in the Netherlands, with players using weighted pieces and magnetic boards. Competitors must also complete each move in a single breath before resurfacing for air. Former Dutch champion Zion Collin was crowned the men's champion, while 17-year-old Josephine Douwman, also from the Netherlands, took the women's title.
And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel's studios in Lagos.
Many thanks indeed, Simon, and welcome to Sports News. Algeria completed the group stage with a perfect record at this year's 2025 AFCON. The two-time champions eased past Equatorial Guinea in Rabat 3-1, with Algeria already through as Group E winners and Equatorial Guinea eliminated from the competition. Nothing was riding on the game in Morocco's capital. Algeria coach Vladimir Petkovic made 9 changes to his starting lineup. Elsewhere, Burkina Faso defeated Sudan 2-0 to seal second spot in the group. Well, more updates from Morocco. The Elephants of Cote d'Ivoire came from 2 goals down to defeat Gabon 3-2 to secure top spot in Group F. Goals from Jean-Philippe Crasso, Ivan Groussard, and Bouzama Mana Torre gave Cote d'Ivoire victory. In the other game, Cameroon also defeated Mozambique 2-1 to finish second in the group. Mozambique also advanced to the next round despite finishing third. Well, let's turn to football now. Real Madrid forward Kylian Mbappe and talisman has suffered a knee sprain, delivering a blow to their bid to catch up with La Liga leaders Barcelona. Mbappe was diagnosed with a sprain in his left knee by Madrid's medical team, and the club did not indicate just how long the 27-year-old striker would be out for, but a source close to the France superstar said he would be absent for at least 3 weeks. Real did not say when or how Mbappe was injured. However, he had trained with the team just yesterday, Tuesday. In Brazil, club Botafogo have been hit with a 3-window transfer ban by FIFA for a debt relating to the signing of Argentinian international Thiago Almada from MLS club Atlanta United. The U.S. club filed a complaint with FIFA claiming $21 million in unpaid transfer fees owed by the Brazilian club who signed the World Cup winner in 2024. The sanction was posted on FIFA's registration ban list and takes effect from today, December 31st, 2025. Almada won the Brazilian Championship and the Copa Libertadores with the Rio de Janeiro club, which then loaned him to French club Lyon in January 2025 before selling him to Atletico Madrid in July this year. Well, that's your sports news tonight. I am Kelly. Hey, guys, back to Anne as we continue to count down to 2026. Bye now.
Thank you, Kelly. And the main news again. The former Labour Party presidential candidate in the 2023 election, Peter Obi, has defected to the African Democratic Congress, the ADC. And that's it on the final edition of the News at 10 for the year 2025. Thank you so much for staying with us through the years. And for our viewers on the DSTV platform, we'll be going live to Igomu, Lagos for the crossover service of the Covenant Nation. Once again, thank you for staying with us. See you in 2026. Good night, and please stay safe.